listen to podcasts, be a student of culture and current events, and that really helps you to be able to connect with people, and keep current on laws as they relate to church organization. So, I want to ask you, are your tanks empty? When your car is empty, what happens? You can't go, right? You're stuck at the side of the road, and you're vulnerable on the side of the road. You're vulnerable to attack or anything like that. So it's important for us, with all these tanks we've talked about, to be able to keep them full.
I was just going through a sermon where your tank is empty on the side of the road, but also lose perspective. You can't really see how in danger you are.
Right.
With traffic going around you.
Right. That's true. There's a lot of danger in being on the side of the road. Good. So continuing along with the minister's personal life, I want to look at some ethical dangers. Richard Foster says the issues of money, sex, and power catapult us into the arena of moral choices. And in a Time magazine, Billy Graham wrote that the enemy attacks God's servant in the areas of sex, power, and money. So we're going to talk about each of those. The Leadership Journal published a study where they surveyed 300 pastors and found that 12% admitted to having sexual intercourse with someone other than their spouse since entering ministry, and 33% acknowledged that they had engaged in sexually inappropriate behavior since entering ministry. So this is obviously a problem. And there's several factors that contribute towards indiscretion of a minister. It could be a spiritual problem. It could be overwork. It could be marital discord. It could be ego. Or it could be poor self-image. So Billy Graham has offered some suggestions to safeguard us from inappropriate sexual relationships. First of all, he says never be totally alone with a person of the opposite sex. In counseling, there should be someone in an adjacent office. Okay, I'm never alone with a woman other than my wife, or family. I don't ride in the same car with just me and another lady. I border on that side of being overcautious because I don't want to put myself in a position of vulnerability. Secondly, be careful about being in questionable environments. Take someone else with you. So if you're visiting a home of a person of the opposite sex in their home, take someone with you. When I was a youth pastor, one time I went to visit. I think it was an elderly lady. She had a youth group, and she wanted to talk to me, and so I took someone with. I think it was actually Pastor Ryan Bluth now, but he was on the youth team then, and he went with me. And I said, "Hey, let's go." And we got there, and the older lady thought it was kind of ridiculous that I had to bring someone else with me. It's like I'm an old lady, but still, my rule is my rule. I don't care how old she is. I just want to be above reproach. So always take someone else with you. Don't be alone with a person of the opposite sex. When I'm traveling somewhere, sometimes like a minister will say, well, I'll have they'll say, I'll have my wife pick you up, or I'll have someone pick you up another lady, and I'll tell them, no, I need a man to pick me up, or a couple of people to come and pick me up. It's just, sometimes it's awkward to force that, but I don't want to ever leave myself in a situation where I'm vulnerable. Be cautious of friendships that can be considered inappropriate. So don't allow your, it's good to be friends with people of the opposite sex, but we never want that to be bordering on something where it could turn into more than friends. So we just want to be very cautious about that. Be aware of the risk of emotional bonding. And then avoid placing yourself in a position where moral compromise could occur. LeVox and Barton have proposed this checklist of items that may signal that you're headed for trouble. Number one is the publicity test. What would others think? So let me give you an example. Let's say that you're texting with a lady, or if you're a lady, you're texting with a man. And what if those texts were made public on a screen for everyone to see? What would other people think about that? And if you think, boy, I'd be kind of embarrassed if other people found out about that, then that's a good example that would not be appropriate. Secondly, of course, physical arousal, either your own or the others. Inordinate sexual fantasy or sexual gestures or body language. Intuition, instinct, or not feeling right. You just have that sense that that relationship with the other person of the opposite sex just isn't right. Something doesn't feel right. Yes?
Can you confirm what number slide you're on? It's not on the note taker. We have a question because we keep dropping our viewers. Can you tell me what slide you're on? They're not numbered.
They're not numbered. I can look. It's number 72.
22?
72.
72. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh. Okay. So instinct, something's not quite feeling right. And sometimes it could be your spouse, where they're saying, boy, God could be giving the warning to your spouse. They see you having a relationship with someone else, maybe it's a coworker or someone like that, where someone else in the church, where your spouse might think, boy, that doesn't quite feel right the way that lady or that man's acting towards you. And it's important to listen to those things. Wanting to share intimacies that are not called for. Maybe a parishioner wanting too much time or attention. Maybe wanting to shift their focus to sexual objects. Then Grenz and Bell offer some additional warning signs. First of all, the conversation becomes increasingly personal, and the pastor talks unduly about himself or herself. The pastor's physical contact has moved beyond greetings to inappropriate pats and hugs. And in today's culture especially, we got to be so careful about that. It's all over the news right now with Joe Biden. He's getting in trouble about, you see on TV, he'll come up behind a lady and just kind of kiss her on the back of the head, or just kind of give a hug, and different things like that.
It keeps dropping. And we're back on now, but it keeps dropping, and I have a feeling it's